Hello, this is Billy Core from the Nostalgia Mall, and what we have here today is something I've never owned before. This is a PowerBook G3 from the year 2000, and how did I come about this? Well, last week when I was recording all my videos for my Exploring Winston-Salem, North Carolina series, I took a break and stopped by a Goodwill there in town, and this was with all the parts laptops. I paid $10 for it. It was as is, no refunds, and it's been about 6 days since I got it. I would have tested it when I got it, but I didn't have the right power cord for it, but I do now. It came in the mail today. Now I do know that this computer does not have RAM or a hard drive in it, so before we can even test it, we're probably going to have to put some RAM in it. Hopefully I can put something in here just to get it started. This is PC 100 64 megs, which this came with 64 megs originally. I just am afraid that these Apple laptops are kind of picky about their RAM, even though it's the same type that you would find in a PC. So, I believe the RAM goes under this little shield right here. And once we put this in, hopefully we can test it. That's where the hard drive goes. Thankfully, they left all the hardware and the caddy in there. I'm hoping that if this does work, I can make this my primary 90s Macintosh, because it's portable, capable of running everything I want, can run OS 9, and it's a lot easier to upgrade and service than an iBook G3, so a lot of advantages right there. So, there we go. Simple enough, I think. Hopefully this does work. So I had to buy the power cord on eBay, and it cost me way more than the laptop did. It cost me $30-some, which is, yes, me a little high for a laptop charger. But I guess since it has the Apple logo on it, everyone automatically assumes it's made of unicorn blood or something. So, go ahead and screw it back in. I probably really shouldn't go ahead and do this yet, but why not? Okay, after this we should be ready to go. If this laptop doesn't work, I think the power cord does have a 30-day return policy, so I saved all the packaging for it in case I do have to send it back, which would be unfortunate, but it is a real possibility. Okay, let's go ahead and plug this in. Connector is back here. I'll go ahead and undo the Velcro wrap. Never had one of these before, but if it does work, I will be able to get some use out of it. Okay, no lights yet. Alright, moment of truth. Ooh, we got a bong. That's definitely a good sign. Are we going to get a display? It appears we will. Yay! Should be getting the Mac with the question mark on it, since it doesn't have a hard drive. Yep, there. Oh, the folder with the question mark. So there we go. We've got a working PowerBook G3, and boy am I happy about that, I can tell you that. So What are we going to do? Well, I got to get a hard drive for it. I don't have any laptop IDE hard drives at the moment, but I believe I do have a CF card adapter and a 16 gig CF card. So we might be able to trick our way into getting this up and running with the CF card. So let me go dig that stuff out, shall we? Okay, while I was gone, the PowerBook turned itself off. Hopefully that was just a power saving feature when it sits idle like that at the question mark screen and not a sign of problems to come. But I did turn it back on earlier and it turned right back on. So let's go ahead and unplug it and add in our CF card and its adapter. So we'll probably need a new PRAM battery as well. Okay, now I got to figure out how to go about this. Don't want to snap anything out. Yeah, no, I should be using the service manual. Hold on. Okay, I had to take the RAM shield off, but that should do it. I think. There we go. Got a little ribbon cable right here. And thankfully it is keyed. I don't know if I'll screw it in just yet or not. Well, maybe I can. Looks like there's screws built into this, so it's just a matter of getting it in place. Oh, wait a minute. This adapter doesn't have screws on the horizontal side. Oh, that's not nice. That's not good. Yeah. So we won't be able to screw it in after all. But I might have to get a little nasty. Can we, I think I shouldn't be doing this. Don't want to snap it. So I've done stuff like that before. I wouldn't put it past me to do it again. I should figure this out off camera. I'll be right back. Okay, I was able to pop these little torque screws out of their spaces. And I was able to put it in here. It's not screwed in, but it's pretty tight. So that's good enough for me. Now can we get it back in? Preferably without damaging something. There we go. Now we'll put the this bit back on and we'll resume then. Alright, got my totally legit macOS CD. I believe this is 9.2.1. Go ahead and plug it back in. By the way, I'm pretty sure the battery is no good on this thing. But no big deal. I'm not going to be using this in bed or anything. Now the eject button on the CD drive is missing. So I had to use a screwdriver to open it, but that's the only real blemish with this computer so far. Let's see if it'll automatically boot off of that. I'm nervous. Okay, maybe I need to hold down the C key or something. That's my dad trying to start a lawnmower that won't start. Don't hear it doing anything on the drive. Maybe it doesn't like this image I'm using. Well, this has certainly been an adventure. I tried so many CDs on this computer to get it to boot, but nothing would. Look at all this. They would not boot at all until I finally tried to boot from a DVD. I put OS 921 onto a DVD, a blank DVD, and that somehow did it. No matter what CD I would use in this computer, it would not boot from it, but once I put a DVD in it, it would. So I'm wondering if the CD part of the lens of this drive is shot. So I was looking at replacement optical drives on eBay for this, and they are expensive. Ugh. Again, Apple stuff is made from unicorn blood, I guess. So at least we're finally able to boot from the OS installer, assuming this is actually going to work. While we're in here, let's see if we can get some system info, shall we? First, let's zoom into the screen. About this computer. So we've actually got 128 megs of RAM. Apparently there was some kind of onboard memory, and we didn't even need to put that 64 meg stick in here, but no big deal. Extra RAM is always a good thing. So let's make an attempt at installing. Okay, we're in the year 1904 apparently. Wright brothers just flew their first plane less than a month ago, apparently. Can we change the date while we're in here? So I can't believe I finally got this to work. I spent like 3 hours getting this to boot from something, and it finally did. And it took a DVD to do that. You know what, I guess we better wait on the date and time for a later time. No pun intended. So, let's go into Utilities, Drive Setup. I don't know much about Macs, but I know this enough. Okay, that must be the CF card. This disk can be initialized. Okay, that CF card is just completely empty. There's not even any partitions on it, so just go ahead and initialize it. And there we go. Simple enough. And we'll label it Macintosh CF instead of HD. So drive is ready to go, and install. There's macOS install and install macOS 921. Let's just go with this since it was already highlighted. Hopefully the DVD drive can survive long enough to get the OS installed. This is a 16 gig CF card, so we got more than enough room. I forget how big the original drive was on this. By the way, I believe this is a Pismo PowerBook G3. This dates from the year 2000. This is like the latest and greatest of this type of PowerBook. Yeah, I totally read that. Let's go to Customize. I don't know if this has an airport card in it or not, but it's going to install the software for it anyway. Guess I can always add the airport card at a later time. Network Assistant Client. That sounds like something I might want if I want to hook it up to my network. But other than that, everything else looks good. Options. Alright. Here we go. Hopefully it'll survive the install. And if it does, we'll see you guys on the other side. Well, I didn't think I'd be able to get to this part of the process tonight, but we are installed. It survived the install just fine. So we'll go ahead and restart and see if we can boot from the main drive. Again, I have to open the disk drive with a screwdriver because the eject button's missing. But it'll probably just skip over it and boot from the built-in drive. Again, this is running off of a 16 gig Transcend CF card, which is nice. Happy Mac? Welcome to Mac OS 9.2. I was about to give up hope getting this thing running tonight. It's working on those extensions. Yeah, I know my air conditioner's loud. Nothing I can do about that. Alright, there we go. Alright, set up assistant. One moment, please, as Flying Scotsman would say. Network time error. Your Macintosh's clock is set to a year before 1973. I already knew that. We'll take care of that shortly. Probably needs a new PRAM battery. Don't know quite how to do that on a PowerBook. I can do it on a desktop, but even on an iMac. Go. Okay, we're in the US. What is your name? Well, that's none of your business, but right, Billy Core, the Nostalgia Mall. By the way, the escape key is trying to escape. Yeah. Well, it's not like it's a vital key anyway. Time and date. Are you currently observing daylight savings time? Yes. What time is it? 8:32 p.m. And the date is June 27th, 2019. And geographic location, it's selected Atlanta, USA. That is the closest to me as far as this list is concerned. Okay, next few questions are about your computer's network settings. You know what, let's just go ahead and plug in a Ethernet cable. Let's see, where is that? Right here. Okay, your computer needs a name so that it can identify itself to other devices. We'll name it PowerBook G3. Can I skip the password? No, I can't. I'll work on the shared folder later. Okay. Gourdhead, as they say in the country. Alright, quit. We don't need to set up any crazy internet stuff, but here we are. Is the battery charging, I wonder? So it looks like it might be. Huh, that's interesting. Okay. Let's see if we can go to System Profiler. Again, I'm still pretty much a novice when it comes to Mac stuff of any age. Let's see, System Profiler. Where is that? Oh, there it is, right there in front of me the whole time. And here's our serial number. Processor, PowerPC G3, clocked at 400 megahertz. Keyboard type, PowerBook keyboard with inverted T, whatever that means. Network stuff there. Production information, bunch of garbly goop there. Oh yeah, we need to eject the DVD that we used to install from. Set that aside. Let's see, display. Display. There we go. 1024 by 768. I was hoping that would give me like a video card. I think it's got some kind of a ATI card in it, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I believe that is. So, yeah, we're good to go. I do want to try one thing. One moment. Okay, I've got a couple of CDs I want to try. First, this CDR version of Fatty Bear's Birthday Surprise. I know I was having trouble reading installed CDs, but I'm wondering if it can read any other type of recorded CD. Can't get it to eject. Okay, we'll just do it like that. Making any noise. Okay, it is now a little bit. I'm wondering if the CD part of this drive, like the CD lens, is no longer functional, but the DVD part is, which would explain why the installer was able to boot from a DVD a while ago. But trust me, I was very happy to see that when it did boot from something. But this drive still will need to be replaced at some point if I can finally find one at a good price. Yeah, it would have come up by now. So let's try this original copy of Putt Putt Goes to the Moon. So let's see if it can read from a real CD or not. And it can. What do you know? Isn't that interesting and peculiar? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, the music in these humongous entertainment games is complete garbage compared to the PC versions. But I'm a little bit biased because I grew up with the PC version. Okay, why did it freeze? Okay, why Why did it freeze up? I don't think that was supposed to happen, guys. I'm gonna have to hard shut it down. So not sure what that was about. Okay, back at our desktop. Well, at least we're almost back to the desktop. I don't know why the system just locked up right there on Up Goes the Moon. It might have something to do with the flaky drive here. But you know what? Somewhere in the house I have a USB optical drive. And even though you can't boot from a USB optical drive on one of these, you can still read from one within an installed OS. So we're not completely out of luck. I'll mess with that sometime later. But overall, I'm happy that we at least got the OS installed on here. I was really beginning to doubt that wouldn't happen tonight. So, we'll go ahead and end the video here. I'll do a more in-depth video at some point. So, actually, first, I want to see something. Look at that. Battery's still holding a charge. What do you know? Don't know how much of a charge. There's some kind of battery meter right here. Either 5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining or 5 hours and 20 minutes remaining. Either one sounds a little suspicious. We'll go ahead and plug it back in before it shuts off. So, I'll go ahead and end the video right here. I'm very pleased with this computer. But I never really did show the computer up close. Here it is. Wrist strap on the camera doesn't want to cooperate. So yeah, it's in really good shape, except for the escape key and this optical drive that's broken in many ways. And here's the back of it. Lots and lots of ports here. You would never see a laptop made like this anymore from Apple. So yeah, I am very happy with this computer. This is pretty much the ideal vintage Mac for me, because it's portable. I can put it away when I'm not using it, and it can run just about everything I need. And I really don't have any interest in putting anything like OS X on here. It's just a little too new for my taste. I saved that for the newer Macs. Of course, I don't have one right now, but there you have it. So, I'll do a more in-depth video on this computer at a later date when I have more stuff installed on here and I have more experience with it. So, until next time, this is Billy Core, signing off. Thank you for visiting the Nostalgia Mall. If you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also support me on Patreon if you would like. The link to all of these are down below. Until next time, this is Billy Core, signing off.